What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel and to another VBX Familia Speaks video. So for today, we'll be talking about Latin freestyle music of the 80s. Now, this music was a little before my time, so I honestly didn't know any of these songs, but I'm sure some of you that are a little older remember them. So on with the video. Latin freestyle is a form of electronic dance music that emerged in the New York metropolitan area in the 1980s. It experienced its greatest popularity from the late 1980s until the early 1990s. The music was largely made popular on radio stations such as WKTU and pre-hip hop Hot 97 in New York City, and it became especially popular among Italian Americans and Puerto Rican Americans in the New York metro area and Philadelphia metro area, among Cuban Americans in the Miami area, and Italian Americans in Detroit, LA County, New Orleans, and the Gulf Coast. The genre was recognized as a subgenre of hip-hop in the mid-1980s. It was dominated by hard electro beats of the type used primarily at the time in hip-hop music. Freestyle was more appreciated in larger cities. Freestyle features themes about a city, a broken heart, love, or dancing. Freestyle music in general is heavily influenced by electronic instrumentation upon an upbeat dance tempo. Often, the Latin clave rhythm is present in many of the songs.
New York, a town of many trades and trends, a place where the impossible is possible. Many ethnic groups living together harmoniously. Out of this melting pot comes a trend. A dance trend that is changing the music industry at a rapid rate. No one knows exactly where it began. Some say it started in Florida, others say Chicago, and the true dance locals say it started here in New York City. What is this new music trend? It's called Latin hip-hop, and with its Latin percussions and salsa overtones, has influenced a new wave of Latinos, as well as whites and blacks, to try it and at the same time establish a name in this crazy business we call music.
I think that it came about because the Latin people are very involved in dance music, and I think that this is their outlet. This is, as I said, their chance to break into pop music.
You know, I read 6 or 7 years ago that the influx of Hispanic Latin people into the country would dramatically affect every marketplace in this country, but especially the music marketplace. There's always great Latin influence in our pop music.
The urban Latin hip-hop, what I call New York Latin hip-hop, had a lot of influence on what happened in Miami. And I think what Miami did was mixed it more with straight-ahead disco music from the 70s.
When they used to do breakdancing, they used to do it for the fun of it. So it wasn't really just for gangs, you know, because some girls used to do it too.
Just the way we do hip-hop or freestyle or whatever. The way we dance is it's just a feeling that comes out of you. It's not that you create it. It's created inside of you.
Freestyle music developed in the early 1980s, primarily in the Hispanic or Puerto Rican communities of Upper Manhattan and the Bronx, and the Italian American communities in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and other boroughs of New York City, later spreading throughout New York's 5 boroughs and into New Jersey. It initially was a fusion of synthetic instrumentation and syncopated percussion of 1980s electro, as favored by fans of breakdancing. The first freestyle hit is largely attributed to Let the Music Play by Shannon. In 1984, a Latin presence was established when the first song recorded in the genre by a Latin American artist, Please Don't Go, by newcomer Niobe, a singer from Brooklyn and of Afro-Cuban descent, was recorded and released.
As soon as we started to move, the music played while our bodies displayed through the dance. That love make us out for romance. Love said, let the music play, you won't get away. Just keep grooving and we'll come bring you again. You won't get away.
The new sound rejuvenated the funk, soul, and hip-hop club scenes in New York City. While many neighborhood clubs closed their doors permanently, Manhattan clubs that played freestyle music began to thrive. Records like Play at Your Own Risk by Planet Patrol, Warmer Shot by C-Bank, and IOU by Freeze became hits. By 1987, freestyle began getting more airplay on American pop radio stations. Songs such as Come Go With Me by Exposé, Show Me by the Covergirls, Fascinated by Company B, Silent Morning by Noel, and Catch Me I'm Falling by Pretty Poison brought freestyle into the mainstream. Radio stations nationwide began to play hits by artists like TKA, Sweet Sensation, Connie, Exposé, and Sapphire on the same playlist as Michael Jackson and Madonna. Radio station WPOW Power 96 was noted for exposing freestyle to South Florida in the mid-80s through the early 90s, as well as mixing in some local Miami bass into its playlist. Pretty Tony Butler produced several hits on Miami's jam-packed records, including Debbie Debs' When I Hear Music and Lookout Weekend, Company B, Stevie B, Paris by Air, Linear, Will to Power, and Exposé's later hits defined Miami freestyle. Miami freestyle would become known as being more fun and upbeat, while New York freestyle retained a raw edge and underground sound even in its most polished forms. As Latin freestyle in the early 1990s gradually became superseded with house music, dance pop, and regular hip hop on one front, and Spanish language pop music with marginal Latin freestyle influences on another, harder strain of house music originating in New York City was known to incorporate elements of Latin freestyle in the old school hip hop sound. That's it for this video, guys. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Leave your feedback down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.